Okay, we're back into weekly Zoom meetings. Funny start to the season, but we're up and running. Got a coaching video tonight for the first time, so we're into full swing, which is good. Let me make some announcements before we get on to the coaching video, or answer any questions you might have. I know if your Port supporters want to have a whinge about the umpiring. All I've heard for the last month is how pros supporters like to whinge, but I heard a bit from the Port supporters on the weekend, but there you go. We've got one milestone this week, a men's Division 1 first game, field umpire, Salvatore Smolnitsky. So went on to Sal, making his debut this week in Div 1 men's. Now we had, I had my worst nightmare come true on the weekend. I tried to avoid it last week. We had 3 umpires not show up to games. 2 of them were on Friday and I thought they were on Saturday. So that was disappointing. But it was not only disappointing that they didn't read their appointment properly, and there was another umpire that didn't show up for a different reason. The other disappointing aspect to it all is Peter and I only found out about it after the game. So it's a direction from here on in that if an umpire hasn't shown up 30 minutes before the game, whether that's field, boundary or goal, we need to hear from you. It's no point going out and making your own arrangements. One of those umpires on the weekend, yes, he made a mistake in thinking that the game was on Saturday. He lived around the corner from the game and he could have got there at the start of the game if that umpire that he was running with had let us know. So we also obviously want to make a bit of an issue this year of umpires turning up on time. So we need to track that. So yeah, the direction is if you haven't heard from an umpire and they're not there 30 minutes before, give Peter or I a call. Obviously, I may umpire a lot of the time, so Pete might be your go-to. But one of us needs to hear. And, you know, sometimes we can do something about it, sometimes we can't. But we can't do anything about it if we don't know about it. And similarly, we had a couple of issues in games where I won't go into details about it, but there was some misunderstanding of leagues, rules and regulations. And again, if umpires or club delegates or someone had contacted Pete or myself, we could have corrected what was a couple of pretty silly mistakes. So yeah, if you're not quite sure that you've done the right thing, I'm not talking about basic decisions like holding the ball or whatever, but like there's some something which you need clarification on during a break. Feel free to call Pete or myself and we'll do our best to clarify any of that sort of stuff. All right, so we've started a new coaching written feedback system in Officials HQ. For those that have been observed by a coach, hopefully you've found it. We are going to make sure that those coaching observations are available for you first thing Monday morning, so there'll be no dragging on waiting to hear through the week. I want to get that feedback done and dusted by Monday so you can start by Tuesday comes around, start worrying about the next week. So if you have been observed in round 1 or 2, you can log into Officials HQ. You go to your appointments, just like you go to the form section when you're putting red or yellow cards or the match report in, you go to that form section and you'll see a feedback sheet. If you're having any problems finding it, let us know. But once you know, it's fairly self-explanatory. But they're all in there for the weekend. There is a 5-star rating on 5 different areas. I'm not keeping a track of that. It's not like the scores that I use for Div 1 and 2 men's umpires for grand finals. So that 5-star is just a bit of a reflection of where the coach sees you in different areas, and that hopefully the comments match those star ratings. If they don't, then maybe you need to have a chat with that coach to just clarify anything. But yeah, that's just a different side of the feedback form. And yeah, I'm not tracking or anything like that. It's just purely between you and the coach. All right. The league has a very low tolerance of misbehavior from runners. And so we had one on the weekend, and really pleased that the umpire, Mel Booth, dealt with it in the right way. Ended up giving a yellow card to the runner, which is okay, after a warning. But but I guess I want to give some direction to it all. So, I mean, their job is to deliver a message to a player and then get off the field. They shouldn't be having interactions with opposition players or with you. So if you notice a runner just hanging around, not getting on and off like they're meant to, that's worthy of just giving them a warning and telling them to get off, and basically saying, if you do it again, we'll pay a free kick. And then if you see sort of that communication towards an opposition player, or you yourself as the umpire or one of the other umpires, that's where you can just step in and pay a free kick straight away. Running, it's not your job. Paying free kick against such and such. Get off, or next time it will be a red card. And then, of course, if they come out and fully go at you and have like a full-on crack at you, then that can be a red card straight away. So hopefully that gives you some direction, but there's a bit more leniency with the communication between you and players, because you can have that rapport. Of course, you need to know when to step in and act there as well. But a runner, it's pretty simple. Their job's to get on and off and deliver a message. Okay, I'm going to try something different. I've had some umpires sort of say to me that some of them have been umpired a few years and they haven't ever umpired at a certain venue. So I'm just going to put it out there. If anyone hasn't umpired at a certain venue and they would really like to, shoot me an email. I'm going to have a separate file and I'm going to try and tick them off by the end of the year. So, yeah, or if you haven't umpired at a certain venue for a long, long time. So, we tend to try and make you not travel too far, so you do get sort of similar venues. But if there's a venue that you would really like to umpire at, you haven't ever or for a long time, shoot me an email and we'll try and make that happen. All right. That's all I've got. Matt Harris, just the MCG. I'm not sure I can do anything about that, Matt. Okay, so if anyone would like to bring up any issue from the weekend, whether it's Adelaide Footy League or AFL, now's a good time to jump in.
Hey, Colin, it's Alison. Can you hear me?
I can. You're not going to talk about the Port game, I hope.
Nah, you've had enough of me on that one, I think. No, I actually just wanted to let you know that I umpired Edwardstown on Saturday with Michaela, and Edwardstown was the club where I umpired during the trial period, and it was where I encountered some issues.
Oh, yeah.
But then I just wanted to let you know the TM came up to me on Saturday and just said she appreciated the Adelaide Footy League getting in touch with the club and rectifying what was needed to be, fixed at that club. So
Excellent.
I thought that was really good and really well done by Edwardstown. I quite like them. They're quite a nice club, and their TM is up and about. So I was really happy with that, and I thanked her. But she approached it in a really positive way, which was nice. So I just thought I'd pass that on.
Yeah, good result. Well done. Now, Mark, you've unmuted yourself. You got something you want to ask? Mark Goods? No? It's all right. Sometimes. Howie. Oh, that's Howard Noble, isn't
it? Yes, it is, Colin. Sorry, I haven't really changed that yet. Willow and I were out at Paraka on the weekend, and we had really very little cooperation from the matchday official for Paraka. Quite clearly, this bloke had probably never done it before. It was kind of that situation where potentially he's just been thrown the orange bib. My error in not capturing it on the match report. And then, of course, hitting not save but send, and of course I can't then re-add back. But I guess it wasn't really to dwell on that, because I had a chat with Peter Angel about that, and I was able to vent a little to him, which was very nice of Pete. But I guess just a club's being reminded of the. I know Kerners does put out something every now and then about matchday officials, and just getting them to understand what their duties are, and whether that could just be pushed out again or very soon to some
Look,
of the.
I think that comes up every year. It honestly is an issue that is dealt with every, and you probably hit the nail on the head. It's probably someone that's been throwing the bib and they haven't done it before, etc. I think yes, you probably should have noted it in the issues. Just by the way, now that I've worked out how the system works with the feedback form we're using in those match reports. When a coach fills in the form and we want to change something, I can actually push the form back to the coach to do something.
Oh.
I'm probably thinking that I'm guessing I could probably do the same with the match report. So if you do hit send, and obviously you can't update it, but you then later think I want to, get in touch and we'll see whether we can reverse it so you can add something.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, I'm certainly sympathetic to clubs where, they're trying their best and whatever, but in the situation we had, it was kind of frustrating, and it just added to, well, it was a 1-point game at the end, but so it was a cracking game, but there really was virtually no help from frankly either of the clubs in terms of their match day. Anyway, thank you.
If you identify early on, I'd certainly be asking the match day officials to look after you a little better than they have been.
We did. Don't worry, and the team manager too.
And if they're not doing it, you can ask the clubs to replace the match day official. What really gets up, my goat is when a match day official wants to come out and have a crack at an umpire. That's not their role. They are there to support you and protect you. And if they're coming out and voicing their complaints about umpiring, it's not their role. So we need to hear about that. And then clubs are notified about that. And that there is things put in writing. There was one on the weekend about that. So I guess. Right. Well, I think clubs. Kerner's does it every year. I've seen the update, and the rule of the week is always something about match day officials. I think you just have to deal with a club on a case-by-case scenario, and if there is an issue, they will get sent a direct letter.
No worries. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Okay, let's get on to the coaching video. Just bear with me. Okay, I think that is showing. All right. I've got some good ones to discuss here. Changing. Do you want to unmute yourself? Have you had a crack at watching this yet today?
Sorry, Cole, you talking to me? Sorry.
Yep. Have you had a look at the video yet today?
No, I have not.
All right, mute yourself again. Brendan, Smiles.
Yes, Cole, I've had a look at it.
Beautiful. All right, this first one, really interesting one. We'll play it and give us your thoughts on how you'd handle this. All right, what do you think?
Well, you don't see it as much in that replay that I've just seen there, but the guy that marks the ball actually hangs onto the other guy's jumper, the blue guy's jumper, to take them both to ground, looking for that extra. But then the blue guy then does push him, sort of thing. So 50-50. I think that what's been paid there as 0 is probably the way to actually go about that, because there were two different pieces to it. One where the marking guy infringes by dragging them both to ground, and then the second where the other guy pushes him down to, say, rack off, sort of thing. But I'll preface my remarks by what you said pre-season about take no shit and false bravado. So you
Yeah.
could pay that because he's pushed him for false bravado.
All right, you've summed it up very well, and I know that people would handle this differently. You're exactly right. The initial bit, it's a Glenunga player, isn't it? He's wanting a 25. He grabs hold of him, he pulls him over, and rightfully there's no 25 paid. So I think that's really good umpiring, but I do think that a 25 should have been paid for the push because he has delayed the play there. You could look at it different ways. You could even say you could reverse it and say that they got you pay it against the Glenunga guy for holding, but I don't think that's appropriate.
No,
I just think so. What I think would be the best course of action is if you saw that Glenunga player grab hold of the player like he does, call time on, run in there, and if nothing else happens, hold him up like we're doing with the false bravado, and say, "Hey mate, stop playing for the 25. Go back. You've got your kick. Take it." And hold him up. But the moment the other guy then shoves him in the back, then just pay the 25. Make sense?
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Cheers, mate. And I got your email too about going away. So all good. Josh Lesky, welcome back.
Hello.
When was the last time you umpired? I know it was pre-COVID.
With the Adelaide Footy League, yeah, probably 2020, 2019.
So I only got an email yesterday. It was yesterday or today from Josh.
It was late last night. I
Yeah.
sent an email, yeah.
Yeah, got him all ready to go this week. I'm excited, mate. You're a good umpire. It's good to have you back. All right, have you had a chance to have a look at the video? You probably didn't even get this email. So
No, I haven't.
So from here on in, by the way, I will post these coaching videos on Monday morning. All right. Look, have a go at it. You might not be able to see much on the screen, but have a go, and then I'll come back and tell you what I'm after.
Goes to half forward. The Port Districts have the extra player, but unable to tidy up.
Throw. Oh, the umpires are not paying. And yeah, you know what? Andrew Crosby has paid that from 100 metres away.
It was the right decision, though.
All right. What did you make of all that?
That was very hard to watch, to be fair, on my screen.
Very tough asking you, actually, mate. I just got you one to welcome you back. So you can have a crack at it, but we don't expect you to get it right.
Well, if we agree with the commentators, it did look a bit of a throw, but it was very glitchy on my screen. So, yeah.
Yeah. No worries, mate. Gory, I remember you were there watching this game. You can tell me probably what I'm after here. Just unmute yourself, mate.
Got me?
Yeah, this is the Div 1 men's grand final, by the way, last year's.
Well, I am not sure because I know that we probably would let that go, I think.
Why?
But it was a blatant throw. Why we let it go? Because the umpire in control, it wasn't behind the play, it wasn't head high, it wasn't any of those things. So play on. Yeah,
so that's right. So with a throw, and I do think it was a throw, by the way, it could actually be interpreted as a tap on. So it's not a scoop up. I think he did scoop it up. It's probably a throw, but not every situation is going to be the same. So you could get something very similar that is purely a tap on and is not a throw. And so the direction is, if the umpire in control interprets it one way, the other umpire is only come in and pay it if it's a high tackle, if it's a dangerous tackle, if it's a yellow or red card, or I've given you false bravado as another thing you mention, or an off the ball tagging type situation. But a throw isn't one of those ones. So Cros is one of our best umpire, 3 out of 4 years. I know he was trying to do the right thing. In this case, I had him marked as an unwarranted free kick, even though technically it's probably a throw. It's just a good reminder of that direction regarding support free kicks. And if we started doing that as a whole group, we'll have free kicks being paid everywhere, and we'll get a lot of them wrong. All right. But I did umpire with Aiden. I think you're on the line, Aiden, aren't you? Are you there, mate? You're on
here.
Yeah. So Aidan umpired very well. We did a Sacred Heart Port District B grade game on the weekend, and he had the courage to pay a support free kick over me. Just explain that one to me.
So I just saw, obviously it was a player who got the ball, had his prior, was tackled, and the tackler tackled him illegally from both mine and Colin's perspective. So Colin was ready to pay holding the ball free kick, but then a third player had come in and sort of tried to tackle him as well, and sort of just like coat hanging him on as he was being tackled by the other player. So I just massive contact to the head. So I just paid the high free kick, which Colin couldn't have seen being on the other side of the contest where he was in the right position there.
Yeah. So I just said to him that's great, like to be able to come and pay it according to the instructions. I certainly didn't take offence. Even if it was wrong, which I don't think it was, I would support you. Like at the end of the day, a high tackle overrules anything else. And so, well done. All right, let's see who else we can get to unmute themselves. Matt Harris, you're always good for to put your thoughts on. Have you had a look yet?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
All right, cool. And just remember, as we with all these decisions, just because the umpire does one thing doesn't mean they've got it right and is what your decision. So don't always go with what the umpire does.
Kicks inside 50. Couldn't quite get it forward. Underwood dives on it. He's sat upon. They called for ball but didn't get it.
All right, what'd you make of it?
So I think it was Spock, the blue one, dove on the ball, took possession of the ball on the ground. He was legally tackled, so it should have been hold the ball.
Okay. Anyone else see it differently?
Yeah, Colin, I actually thought it was a bit of a push in the back.
Yeah. Who's that one? Is that Bo? Yep. Yeah. That's not a surprising answer at all. So thanks for jumping in, Bo, because I was hoping someone was going to say that. So my take on it is, I don't think it is in the push in the back. But if you are not sure and you end up erring on the side of the ball play and playing it in the back, I don't have a problem with it. So if I was assessing that in a play and you'd pay it in the back, I'd back you up. I think the actual right decision is the tackle is okay. He's on the ground, he takes possession, and then the ball, the ball is trapped. So I would have preferred holding the ball. The one decision I would not want in that situation is a ball up. That's just and perhaps Jason, probably the best ever umpire we've had in the Adelaide Footy League. We all make mistakes. So just as Cross did in the previous example, one of the best examples, there are times where I'm not going to agree with perhaps what they do. Maybe Jason's thinking may have been in the back, may have been holding the ball and has just sat on the fence a bit. I'd rather us take one way or the other. Just go with your first instinct. If you think it's in the back, pay it. If you believe it's holding the ball, pay it. Make sense? All right, let's get on to some set kick examples. Control set kick. So be there when it matters. Just a good example. Ball's within 50 metres. So shot at goal and jumped over there and tapped the other umpire through. It's 1 metre out, 1 metre back. You make sure the player's at the top of their mark. He's on the right angle. Player on the mark knows where they are. Just really good. You need to be there to set it up. So here's something that Andrew Crosby did very well. Why he's one of our top umpires. And it's a bit of a difference between the very good umpires and the umpires that are doing lower grades. In that situation, if there's a mark or free kick and it's inside the goal square, ideally, if you have the fitness and you have the ability to be a higher level umpire, even if you're sprinting in like Cross does here, you're going to play it back. Once they're set, you can back out.
Tommy Kay will take the ball.
I think it's Cross here again.
Hopeful kick
So
is effective to Zach Smith.
he
He's back
sees
out
the
there.
players
That could
going
be
around. There's a
25.
potential. There's no
25.
need for a 25 there,
Just
but
see
there's a
Zach- is that
potential
Zach
there
Smith?
could
Yes,
be some agitation there because the players have gone to ground. He identifies that, sees he needs a presence, uses a tap to pull the switch. In the end, the players get up and play on, but it's one of those situations where it could be something eventuate from it. So that's another good example of set kick control. So having that presence so the players know you're in charge. Again, let's pause here again. Just sprinting in. You need to tap the other umpire through, then do so. Normally, if there was no need to get right in there, you could let the other umpire come in and tap the set kick. But again, if players go to ground, you need to be there. This one here, obviously playing high tackle. When there's a high tackle, there can be some angst, and so I think it's Chris Lambert there wants to get in to make sure that nothing eventuates from it. Used to switch the other umpire through. Communication, very communication, really important. In this case here, it's out of bounds on the full or last possession. I reckon that's Stefan there. The video's not super good, but he gets right over. He sees that the player's out of play, so he tells him to go out. Watches that player.
A little bit of noise starting to build around Pertaringa Oval.
Free kick over the boundary
importance
line.
of this game, as I
That's
mentioned right
over
off
there,
the top,
watching the
these two
player with
teams
the
only
ball,
sitting
not
a
focusing on the mark, and getting that player set up properly. So yeah, 90% focus is player with the ball. And the reason for that, Nathan, I reckon, yeah, the moment the player comes into play, it's play on. I reckon. I think it's on the first there. Ken level. You can see the moment that player walks in, he knows he's on the play and immediately calls play on.
Add on the full. If there is a cross community footy across the country, a rapid rise in holding the ball.
Once he set up, he sees the player come in.
And that's okay as well, as long as it's consistent.
And again,
everybody
focus
knows
on
what's
the
going to
play
happen.
with the ball, not the player on the mark.
Colin, question.
Yeah.
In the AFL, when there's an out of bounds on the full deliberate, they make the player who's staying the mark stand on the line. Do we have to do that?
It's not something I've ever worried about. No.
Yep. Okay.
I wouldn't worry about that. As long as they're not over the mark, they can be in line with the mark. Yeah. I haven't actually noticed that, and they do change their directions every now and again, but. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that.
It ties in with the stand rule, Cole, that one.
Good pick up. Yeah, Matt, well done. Yeah, so yeah, we don't have stands, so we don't have to worry about it.
So, Colin, our requirement is to get them outside the boundary line before they commence their play.
So say that again, John.
Our only requirement is for the guy who's taking the kick to be outside the boundary line.
Correct. And you also do have to make sure the player on the mark isn't over the mark as well.
Sure.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. The focus is getting the player with the ball to go out of play and then watching for when they come into play. So yes, exactly right. All right. So there are times where you can use umpires when there's a need for help.
Kick forward, Bartlett.
Case here, it's just a simple tapping situation.
Really inside 50.
Out near the 50 line. So tap the other umpire through. So they can have a view on the goal square.
And he's put it to the near
Instead
side.
of going in and setting the set kick up and backing out and having to go there himself. In this case here, 25. Put on from Nathan to come in and help sort out the situation. So you can work together to get that new mark set for 25. In this case here, this is just a reminder, this is a so those that will remember last year we had Kenilworth versus Kilburn, which ended very controversially with a kick after the siren, and we had a club goal umpire that gave it a point. Everyone from Kenilworth thought it was a goal, and we had the umpire number 2 back row that had told them to go, and that was top of the 50 to watch the goal square. They had no idea. The other umpire had no idea because they were alongside the set kick. So in these cases, it doesn't have to be after the siren or end of the game. Just in these cases here, if it's a set shot for goal and it's right angle, ideally, you can come in and help, as Matt does here, get the players 10 meters back from the line. And once that's set up, you go behind the player taking the kick so you can have a view of whether it's a goal or a point or out in full. And it doesn't have to be a club goal umpire to do that. Some of our league umpires get caught out sometimes. And if we can get across there to help out, then that's great. I understand the older umpires, the slower, less fit umpires. It may be difficult because if the play is played on immediately, you're going to get caught way out. So I understand that, but it's an instruction for the top level umpires and anyone else that feels like they can do it. It certainly can help out.
One-on-one and the two big blokes.
That's good teamwork. Under normal circumstances, just for one umpire in control of a set kick, the other umpire stays at the top of the 50, or if their tap through goes to 20, 25 out, stays out of the set kick control. This is the one time we have the two umpires working together on the set kick. You can see there now Matt's helped out, clear the players out, and now he's back behind the player taking the kick. And just an interesting one to finish with.
And it is.
So Rashi does the right thing here. So remember, if it's a kick, as in this case here, the player on the mark has to come back equal with the top of the kickoff line. And as a good umpire, as Rashi is, as we want to tell everyone that he is, he gets down there to put the player on the mark. And he's multi-talented. He noticed something else that needs addressing here.
No score from a tight angle.
So
and a bit of a let off the hook there for Para
Hills. The kick to get over.
Would have been a...
And it's just really well handled. And so you are going to have crowd issues. We had some on the weekend at Marion, I think it was, where spectators were over the fence. Don't feel like you have to always do what Rashi has done there and address it yourself. If you've got concerns before the game, during the game, you can get the match day official to address those concerns. But in that case there, I think Rashi did it pretty well. Notice the kid was hanging over the fence, shouldn't have been there, and just asked him politely to go back over with his dad.
Colin, that's interesting that his communication skills there were good, because he couldn't communicate to his son Charlie where the game was on Saturday.
What do you mean by that?
Young Charlie ended up at Athelston instead of Hope Valley. And so got there late and said that Dad managed all that because he didn't get the emails.
Thanks for that. That might be one for the whistleblower. Although I'm sure maybe Chris might blame someone else, because Chris would have been out umpiring himself. But anyway.
Yes, his wife was doing the driving, apparently under his instructions. So
gotcha.
We laughed.
Well, again, we probably needed to hear about that, didn't it? Pete and I needed to hear about that one. All right.
No, it's all good. It was a very slow game, and it was only a little.
Yeah. The last message from this video is essentially saying a good umpiring performance requires good set control. Be focused from the start. And I was always told the set kick control is one of the keys to umpiring, and that's why we put it as the first topic for the year. All right. Any questions on any of that? Anything else anyone wants to raise?
Hey, Colin and Darren here.
Yeah, mate.
I've noticed there's a trend in the AFL to blow the whistle for a ball up really quickly, and I think it's to do with TV, just to keep the spectacle happening. In my game on the weekend, I noticed the players, as soon as they got caught, they were waiting for a whistle straight away, really, really sharp.
Yeah.
And there was a lack of trying to dispose of the ball. I paid early a free kick, and then they got the message pretty quickly. Don't know whether you're noticing that at all, but the players seem to watch the TV and expect the same to happen on our games.
I think I know the reason for that adjustment at AFL level was because of dangerous tackles. And I would agree with that, in that if you can see that the ball is clearly held in and there's no way they're going to get rid of it, you don't need to delay the whistle in that situation, because all you're doing is asking them to continue the tackle down, and cause a problem. But if you see an arm free or an opportunity for them to get rid of it, by all means delay the whistle, and then if they're not making an attempt, penalise them.
Thanks, mate.
Anyone else?
Yeah, Cole, while we're on the AFL thing, Another one I've seen creeping in a fair bit this year is where you had the one with the stand on the out in the full. When players are then crossing the line to come into the field of play to play on, they're taking that step inside the line. They're not being called play on. They're giving them time and then waiting for a deviation inside play before they call play on.
Possibly because they're so focused on the players standing the mark. I don't know, but yeah,
Okay.
the instruction stays the same for us. The moment they come into play, we call play on.
Yep.
Anyone else? All right, very good. We're off and running. I better get to and start getting these appointments finalised for this week. Yeah, all the best for the week ahead. We'll be obviously Wednesday night at Adelaide Uni again. We'll see you all then.